Banished from Earth, classic game room broadcasts from the intergalactic space arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I'm celebrating robots, mechs, and cyborgs all month, starting with E-SWAT, City Under Siege for the Sega Genesis.
Sega!
From way back in 1990, the dawn of the cyberpunk era, this is E-SWAT, City Under Siege for the Sega Genesis, which was originally called Cyber Police City Under Siege in Japan. Let's kick off Mecha March Madness Month
E-SWAT.
with a month full of robots, mechs, and cyborgs, starting with this incredibly average side-scrolling platformer on your Mega Drive or Sega Genesis. E-SWAT. I remember this game when it was new. And I'll be honest, I was disappointed in 1990 or 91, whatever year I played it, because it had no relation to my favorite manga at the time, Appleseed, which features E-SWAT. But this is a different E-SWAT, no Dunin or Briarios to be found. In E-SWAT City Under Siege, you're like a poor man's RoboCop. In fact, you don't even get your cyborg robot armor until the 3rd level. Until then, you're a traffic cop in tan slacks. He's got nice boots, though. I remember renting this game when it was new, and my opinion really hasn't changed much. It's like a glorified NES side-scroller. Games like this were the first-person shooters of 1990. We were drowning in them. Some of them were amazing, like The Revenge of Shinobi. Others were downright awful. And then there's E-SWAT, which is right in the middle. It has its moments. It's not terrible, it's just... It feels like an early Sega Genesis game. It's kind of slow, it plods along, it's got a nice style, but not much imagination in the gameplay department. It doesn't even start to get interesting until level 3. When you finally get your cyborg armor, Murphy, it's you! No, it's not, it's this other guy. You know he's still got his cool boots underneath that armor though, right? Finally, we live up to the title of the game. There's a bigger health bar and jetpacks. If you can make it through the boredom and mediocrity of the first 2 levels, you can start to enjoy the game. But don't expect anything that hasn't been done better before. Sure, you'll pick up some new weapons, and one of them is a flamethrower. Never a bad thing. As you can tell, I'm not a huge fan of this one, but it's not to say that you shouldn't give it a try. It's actually really cheap and easy to find. This one is also on the Virtual Console and in Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection.
Mission completed.
Good drum roll there. The music's not too bad, and I like the visual style and color palette. It's definitely got that early 90s cyberpunk thing going on. But it fails to really do anything terribly exciting with the gameplay. By level 5, I think, you start flying around more and avoiding death traps and stuff. And that's actually really tricky. I ended up just getting frustrated at that point in the game. The boss battles aren't terribly exciting, and the fact is there's way better side-scrollers on the Genesis. But this one might cost you at least $1. Assuming you don't already have this in your Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, because you should. The question is, should you spend your time playing this, or The Revenge of Shinobi? You know the answer. Which game does it better? Yeah, that one. But there's something to be said for mastering the flying controls in E-SWAT. It feels somewhat broken. So if you're looking for a challenge, here you go. You've got to ask yourself, how many games have a death escalator? Maybe I need that in my life. It's like a Stairmaster from hell. And even less exciting. You know what? I'm gonna name that thing. I dub the Death Escalator the Deathscalator. Revenge of Shinobi does not have a Deathscalator, and neither does Macy's. At least it's got the generic side-scrolling black and yellow factory flooring. That's always a good thing. And I've got a classic game room shout-out and thank you to send to Terrell from Kingstree, South Carolina. Again, thank you, T. Thank you for E-SWAT. This one's not for me, I've been emotionally scarred by it, but if you're looking for a serious challenge, especially in the flying sequences, E-SWAT is there for you and it's really affordable. Could have used more Dunin though, and those giant spider things that destroyed Olympus and chicks with fox ears and tails and stuff. Actually, probably could have done without those, but definitely the spider things. E-SWAT! City under siege. It may not have burning people with monsters and cutting them in half-itude, but it does have the Deathscalator! Thank you for watching. Follow Classic Game Room on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. If you enjoyed this review, watch my review of The Revenge of Shinobi on Sega Genesis. Welcome to the club. It's the Lord Carnage Club, where I give thanks to these backers on Patreon. Starting with Jeff Cap Dauntless Breyer, Ohad Kane, Jack Stavros from Australia, Philip Michael Stiles of Ortona, Philip Straubenmuller of Vienna, Austria, Landon Ellerby, Justin Duran from Palm Desert, California, Steve Chucknick from New Jersey, Sean Zoltek, Rick DeBarros, Pimp Trex, Al Stiver, Chip Sankvale, Shadow Minion, for Lord Carnage, Busy Signal, Jason from Kamloops, British Columbia, Will, Zach Brenner, Sergio, Matthias Hergert, Jim Moriarty, Rob from Palmerston North, New Zealand, Kishorken, Soft Otaku. See you next time on Classic Game Room Mark III.